The U.S. Supreme Court overturned 50 years of precedent. We were told, oh, it's not going to happen, right? There's just no way that they were going to do this. But they did. It's happened. And like you, all of us at the ACLU of Minnesota are sad, we're terrified, but we're also mad and determined that we're going to do everything in our power and more to make sure that our right to abortion access is preserved. What the Supreme Court did is ugly, it's terrifying, but we know what we have to do next. Unrestrict the ACLU, gender justice, our justice, and all of our allies are prepared in this fight. And we need you with us side by side as we move forward in the days and months and years ahead. And unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that we know that these attacks aren't going to stop, right? Clarence Thomas showed his cards. He showed his cards and he kind of told us, actually not kind of, he told us what's coming next, right? So, let's believe him. He's saying it, he published his decision. So we know that things like gay rights and birth control access are all on the table, right, for the Supreme Court. And the court is taking on a voting rights case next term that frankly terrifies me. But it makes me mad. It makes me mad and it makes me more determined. As a queer Muslim woman of color, I know I've had to fight my whole life. And this fight isn't over yet. Okay? It's just getting started. Let's be honest. Politicians locally and nationally have attacked our ability to marry who we love, to receive gender-affirming care, and to vote for who we want to. They want to control our bodies, our health care, our identity. They want to control our families and our relationships. But the truth of the matter is that all those decisions belong to us. They belong to us and not to the government. And we will never stop fighting to protect these rights. We will not go back. We will not give up. So, make no mistake about this. Abortion is legal in Minnesota. It is legal right now. In 1995, the Minnesota Supreme Court, right over there, decided that the right to have an abortion and to decide to have an abortion is protected by the Minnesota State Constitution. Okay? So that is currently how it is here in Minnesota. And that's the way it should be, right? And we're going to fight to make sure it stays that way in Minnesota. So, just last week, did you all hear the good news? Out of Ramsey County District Court, did you hear the good news? A state court judge knocked down several restrictions on abortion. Again, a huge shout out to gender justice, to our justice, and to the Loring Project for fighting in court for years to knock down those restrictions. That summary judgment decision was huge. Make no mistake about it, we are going to keep fighting in the courts. So we're going to celebrate and we're going to keep moving forward. So I'm just going to end on this. We have to continue to expand the right to access abortion in Minnesota. We are an island up here in the upper Midwest. People from across the country are going to be coming here to access abortion. We have to demand that the right to access an abortion continues to expand here so that we can not only serve the needs of Minnesotans, but that we can serve the needs of people who will be coming here from across the country. So we got to vote, We gotta march. We gotta demand that our human rights are protected. And thank you all for being here this morning.
Thank you, Summer! Okay, I want to remind everybody, please care for yourself. Drink more water than you think you need to drink. Stand in the shade if you need to. There's medic tents if you need them. Bathrooms are behind me. Next up, I want to welcome the Executive Director of Outfront Minnesota and the Board Chair of Outfront Minnesota, Kat Rohn and Beth Frazier.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Kat Rohn. I'm the Executive Director for Outfront Minnesota, our state's largest LGBTQ advocacy organization, and I am here with Beth, a member of our board, and we stand with all of you, with our partner organizations, with so many wonderful elected officials, to stand and say, abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. And we are absolutely committed to making sure that all Minnesotans can make the choices about our bodies and our lives. Thank you. Here's Beth.
Thank you. I am Beth Frazier. I use she and her pronouns, and I am the board of Outfront Minnesota. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. What? Well, some of us, like me, used to have opposite-sex relationships before we came out, and others still do after they come out. Some want to be and are parents. Others, like me, nuh-uh, not for me. But regardless, like everyone else, we need access to safe and affordable abortion care for ourselves, for our families, and for our communities. Plus, we know they're going to use this to go after contraception, anti-sodomy laws, and the freedom to marry. So abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. We are determined and glad to be part of this fight with you. We stand united together. We vote. We make calls. We write letters. We protest. We make our voices heard. And today, we march. Thank you, Outfront Minnesota. I'm going to invite some faith leaders up here. I'm going to invite Cantor Joanna, Reverend Gia Star Brown, and Reverend Kelly Clement to lead us in some grounding.
Sorry, right in your face. Right in your face, sorry. Oh wait, are you Lynette? I'm Carmen Peters.
Oh, sie besingt ja, weil Yeshua. Oh, sie besingt ja, weil Today, in our Jewish calendar, is a day called the 17th of the month of Tammuz. It's a day of mourning, a day of commemoration, a day of fasting. Why? Because centuries ago, the walls of Jerusalem were breached by our enemies, who sought to destroy the inner sanctum of our communal life, the temple. Today, we stand together because the walls of our democracy have been breached. We stand here today because the walls to our bodily autonomy have been breached. We stand here today to raise our voices and say, no, not here. This is a time to mourn. It's a time to act. It's a time to make your voices heard. It's a time to let everyone know that over 80% of Jewish people support abortion access. We believe in our community that life begins when a baby's head emerges. That's it. A religious and philosophical debate should not be made into laws of the land.
Abortion bans are against my religion.
Yes.
And I won't stop saying it. I won't stop, and neither should you. So it's up to us to rebuild brick by brick our freedom. It's up to us to rebuild our voices. It's up to us to rebuild justice. Let your voice be heard. Vote. Tell your legislators how you feel. And come to us, your clergy, come to us and tell us how you feel, and we will support you. Come to us and we will hold you. We will not go back. Thank you.
I just want to let you all know we are on time. We will be leaving here at noon. So you drink water. We're almost finished. I'm going to introduce Reverend Gia Star Brown.
My name is Reverend Gia Star Brown, and I use she and her pronouns. I am a pastor, I'm a lesbian, I'm an educator, an activist, and I'm a mom here in the Twin Cities. And I'm a pastor of the stable and intentional and inclusive virtual worshiping community here in the Twin Cities. And I've got some news for you today. We've been hoodwinked. We have been tricked, led to believe the rhetoric and the lies of religious ventriloquists, putting words in Jesus' mouth, conditioning us to believe that God condones the controlling of bodies, the controlling of minds, and the decisions of people, but that is not true. The Bible has been used as a weapon against any who question or challenge the authority and leadership of government, and twisting words and meaning to maintain power and control over others. But I'm here to tell you that it isn't true.
Okay.
The Bible, as we know it, centers the narratives and the opinions of men. Back in biblical days, anyone who wasn't a man was property. They were voiceless and they were with little to no agency. Men told everybody else what to do with their bodies, what to do with their agency, with the little and the nothing that they had. They controlled everything that they learned. Men controlled who had access to the truth and who had access to God. And today, men are still trying to do the same thing. Empire is still trying to do the same thing, to tell us what to do, where we can go, what we can know about our bodies, with our bodies. And these ventriloquists, they continue to hide behind God, using these modern day puppets to dominate and divide us, to oppress us. But the Bible that I study from, the Bible that I teach and preach from, at the stable is about love. It's about access. It's about freedom. The God that I serve is about love and access and freedom. Jesus didn't come here to close doors. Jesus came to open them. Jesus came to uproot the unfair status quo, not to keep it the same. Jesus came not to justify this oppression, but to liberate us from it. Equality, not disparity. Unity, not division. Free will and choice, not dictatorship. You know, with Jesus, people other than men became leaders in the community. They became part of the disciples. They became educated and empowered. Women became teachers and preachers. Jesus stood for agency. He cared for their souls and their bodies. He cared for their health. And abortion is health care. Health care is justice. Likewise, if you're wondering, like Jesus, reproductive justice promotes access, not fear. Equality, not disparity. Free will and not a dictatorship. Limiting and removing access to health care for all people is disparity. Institutional oppression, it relies on our ignorance. It relies on our insecurity. It relies on our stillness, but we know better, don't we? We pull the curtain back and the jig is up. We see this for what this is: control, fear, oppression, and we don't have to sit with it. We don't have to stand for it. We are powerful. We are capable.
Thank you.
Everybody hold your signs up high. They can't even get us. Look, they had to send a helicopter to see how many people were here. Please welcome Reverend Kelly Clement.
We will not be controlled. I am sovereign in my body. I am sovereign in my soul. We will not be controlled. I am sovereign in my body. I am sovereign in my soul. We will not be controlled. I am sovereign in my body. I am sovereign in my soul.
I'm the Reverend Kelly Clement. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve the First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. FUS is here outside today in the heat because we think this is so important to be here. We know, and we are proud to be a founding member of the Unrestrict Coalition. You've heard all the good things that people have said, and we're going to march, and we're out here in this painful heat because climate change. But it's so important to be here. And here's what we know. If more than 70% of Minnesotans are in favor of abortion care, that means by definition that millions of Minnesotans of faith support reproductive health, rights, and justice. Millions! We are here for all of them. Reverend Gia is right. We've been hoodwinked. That small, loud minority of white Christian nationalism does not speak for me. That small, tiny, loud, well-funded minority of dominionism that wants to have dominion over me and you does not speak for us. To be able to captain our own ship, as Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison says, is a fundamental facet of being human. To be able to determine the course of our lives and have liberation in all things is what it means to be human. That's why we're here as people of faith, pro-choice because of our faith and not in spite of it. Thank you, Aaron and Unrestrict Minnesota, for all you do. Thank you, every one of you who's sweating out here. Every bead of sweat matters, and we're taking it to the Capitol. Blessed be and amen.
Thank you, Reverend Kelly. I'm going to have somebody take a picture. Raise those signs up one more time. Raise those signs up one more time and cheer. Let's see them. I am proud to introduce to you your congresswoman in this district, Betty McCollum.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. I was watering the few plants I have on my deck this morning and saw you walking down here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But we have a couple other thank yous to do. I'm from the House of Representatives. We have timed speeches. I don't go on forever or the gavel comes down. So let us all thank Unrestricted Minnesota for putting this together. Thank you. Let us thank all the performers. Thank you. And let us thank the sign language interpreters who are here wearing black. Thank you. And I want to thank yourselves. Turn to your neighbor, look at each other and say, thank you. You know, I woke up this morning as a resident of Minnesota. The reason why my rights are protected in this state is that Capitol Dome right over there. action like we've never been engaged before. My rights as a resident in Minnesota are even on the line on this election. My rights are your rights. Before I left here to come home, this is my home, I took a vote in Washington, D.C. to send another bill over to the U.S. Senate protecting women's access to health care. I sent another bill in there basically saying that people have the right to determine what happens to their own personal bodies. How we got here, I don't know. In one of the clouds up there are my grandmothers. One a Democrat, one a Republican, and my mother. All three supported women's right to have choice. And you know what? At the end of their lives, they were talking about supporting everybody's right. So, you're going to march like heck. I'm going to go out and hit some doors. If you haven't to, find a candidate to work on. If you're in the 4th District, come to my website. If you're the 5th, you know where to go. Or go to our fabulous governor, who's going to be the block up at that House of Representatives, the block in the Minnesota Senate. Peggy Flanagan and Keith Ellison, we all need your help because our rights are your rights and human rights need to be protected. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McCollum. We are 8 minutes away from starting our march. I'd like to introduce to you Yolanda Roth from Take Action Minnesota.
Thank you so much, y'all. It's hot, right? It's hot. All right. My name's Yolanda Roth. I'm the Strategic Partnership Director at Take Action Minnesota. And for those of you who don't know, we are a multiracial, multi-generational, gender-affirming grassroots political organization. And y'all, we are mad as hell. Right? The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade has thrown down the gauntlet. And now we know that none of our constitutional rights are safe, not one. We can't take anything for granted. And we are all in this together. So let's talk about it. Together, we can ensure that the state of Minnesota is prepared to welcome and care for all those seeking to exercise their right to reproductive freedom. Hand in hand, we, with our siblings from across the country, we can undo the harm and injustice being perpetrated by people who use their prejudiced ideology and put that above the human rights of the entire nation. So because we're in this together, because we're fighting for more than the rights of those of us who are blessed to have a uterus, all of our rights are at stake. And I want you, please, right now, I want you to turn to the person next to you. Turn to the person in front of or behind you. And I want you to make them please this promise. I will never stop fighting for your civil rights. That's right. I will never stop fighting for your reproductive freedoms. I will never stop fighting for you to be respected as a whole, complete, and worthy human being, y'all. Never. Understand? Thank you. Keep fighting, y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yolanda. I want everybody to know that for this march, when we start, everyone is just going to turn around and start marching out that way. I want to introduce your last speaker, our state auditor, Julie Blaha. Let's hear it for the last speaker. Woo-hoo! I know
a role in this work. Okay, so I oversee $60 billion in local government spending. And let's hear it for $60 billion. Let's hear it for local government. In Minnesota, most of our safety net goes through local government. And we know that healthcare is a big part of that safety net. And let's hear it because we know that, let's say it together, abortion is healthcare. All of us have a role. So we need to make sure our numbers are honest and they're accurate and they're complete, because we know that when you look at the numbers, abortion access is good for the entire community. Let's hear it for everybody benefiting from abortion access. So if I can find my role in this work as the auditor, I know you can find yours. Maybe you're going to be the person your relatives can come talk to. Maybe you're the one at work that's going to make sure your health insurance covers abortion care. Maybe you're the one that's going to make sure your school has accurate and complete reproductive science in their schools. Are you going to be the one? And together, are we the ones to make this happen? Thank you. I'm honored to be in this work with you. Let's go.
Okay, we are going to have two performances that are going to play us out. Please start marching. Look for the marshals. There's cooling and misting tents when you get to the Capitol. Please take care. I'd like to welcome the dancers.
Hello, everybody. We are two members of New Black City. We're all queer, black femme dance crew from the Twin Cities. We've been performing for 6 years. We're just going to get into it so people can walk and watch as we go. I'm Yoni, and this is Mimi. If you like something, give a shout.
Your neck, let's just get your throat cut. Just a neck truck, not a black truck. Tell them back up, clack up. Get it, bands, pull up, stashed up, super fast up. When you bitch goes apart, get your bitch up. Yikes, I play tag and you it for life. Yikes, you a clown, you do it for life. Yikes, this is tight, but it doesn't bite. Work the right, ain't the right.
Things flow silly, the ladies gon' feel me. The fellas in the back, and they twisting up a belly. Get silly, 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 silly. The ladies gon' feel me. The fellas in the back, and they twisting up a belly. The things flow silly, the ladies gon' feel me.
Let's make some noise for New Black City!
How old are you? Grown. Would God want you to be a slut?
God will want me to be whatever I want to be.
Would He want you to be a slut?
He will want me to be whatever I want to be. Whatever I want to be.
And why would He want you to be a slut?
He will want me to be whatever I want to be because God believes in choice.
And what makes you a slut?
Because I own my body. My body is not a political playground. It's not a place for legislation. It's mine. It's my future. And
Back up for the high with the pumps off. In the grave, on his way, you get dumped on.
Okay, Joyce said if anybody asks, just say.
At the beginning.
Stop the crusade! On Roe v. Wade! 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 The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated. 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 El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Reproductive rights. When do we want it? Now. Now not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate. Not the church, not the state. The people must decide our fate.